Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? Today we're going to tackle a topic that might not seem super exciting at first glance.
Yeah, we're talking about Excel.
We're talking about Excel.
Specifically, the PATHCONTAINS function.
But, and this is a big but.
Big but.
Once we really get into it,
yeah,
you'll see just how powerful this function can be.
It really is. Especially for those of you out there working with hierarchical data, this is going to change your world.
Right. If you've ever found yourself wrestling with, trying to find specific data within a larger structure.
Oh, absolutely.
This function, this is your new best friend.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about relationships, understanding the relationships within your data, and this function lets you do that.
Right. So we've got our source here defining PATHCONTAINS as essentially checking if a specific item exists within a given path. And I got to admit, when I first saw that word path, I immediately thought like file paths on my computer.
Right. Yeah, that's a common, I guess, misunderstanding. Yeah.
It's not talking about your file directories.
So what are we talking about then?
So in Excel, the path is actually a specially formatted string, like a sequence of characters that represents the hierarchy of your data. Think of it kind of like a family tree. So each generation in that family tree would be a step in that path, leading from, the ancestor all the way down to a specific descendant.
Okay, so it's less about, a physical location on your computer and more about a logical pathway.
Yeah, exactly. Like a map of the relationships within your data.
Gotcha. So let's try and make this a bit more concrete. So let's say we're looking at a company's organizational chart.
Right.
Like you've got the CEO at the top.
Okay.
And then it branches out to all the different departments and teams.
Sure.
So in that case, the path would be like the line of command from the CEO all the way down to, a specific employee. Absolutely. And then PATHCONTAINS would tell you if that employee falls within a particular branch of that hierarchy. Like say you want to just see the folks in the marketing department. You can use PATHCONTAINS to filter for just those employees.
Oh, so it's not just about like finding a needle in a haystack. It's about knowing exactly where that needle is within the haystack,
Exactly. It gives you that context. And then that output you get, whether the item is in the path or not, that true or false, that's more than just information. It's power. Right? Because you can use that to drive actions in Excel.
Right. Like you could use it for filtering.
Exactly. Like we were talking about. You can filter for only the marketing department, for example.
Okay. And you could also use it for like conditional formatting.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine, you want to highlight all the products in your inventory that belong to a certain category. You can use PATHCONTAINS to do that. And it'll, boom, just highlight those specific cells for you.
So you're basically telling Excel, hey, if this particular item exists within this specific path, do something.
Yeah, exactly. You're setting up a rule based on that path.
Got it. So our source mentions that this function PATHCONTAINS relies on another function called path to create those strings that represent the hierarchy.
Right. That's a key point. So path is what actually builds that family tree, so to speak, that structured string that Excel can then understand. And then PATHCONTAINS uses that to do its magic.
Makes sense. So we've talked about filtering, conditional formatting. What other kind of cool stuff can we do with that true or false output from PATHCONTAINS?
Oh, tons of stuff. You can get really, really creative with it. You can use it in more complex calculations. Like think about SUMIFs or COUNTIFs. These functions let you do calculations, but only on specific cells that meet certain criteria. And you can use PATHCONTAINS to define those criteria. Like you could say, hey, I only want to sum the values of the cells that represent products within this specific category hierarchy. And PATHCONTAINS will help you pinpoint exactly those cells.
Okay, so it's almost like you're giving Excel this secret decoder ring for deciphering this hierarchical data.
I like that.
And once you know how to use it, you can unlock all this amazing analysis and manipulation.
Yeah. And here's something to really stretch your thinking. Don't just think about spreadsheets.
Right.
Like Look around you. Look at your computer. Look at, your personal finances. Think about how you organize your files or, your budget with different categories and subcategories.
Right.
Chances are you're already using hierarchical structures in your everyday life. And now with PathContains, you've got a tool that can help you analyze those structures in a whole new way.
Yeah, and maybe even reveal some insights that you wouldn't have otherwise seen. Well, this has been really eye-opening.
It's a powerful function.
I never would have guessed that there was so much power hidden within, a function called PathContains.
It's the hidden gems, right?
Yeah. I'm already starting to think about all the ways I could start using this.
That's great. And that's the thing with Excel, right? There's so many of these hidden gems, these little functions that seem really specific. But once you understand how they work, you can apply them in so many different ways. And that's where the real power comes in. Being creative, experimenting, and seeing what you can discover.
Absolutely. So to all our listeners out there, don't be afraid to dive deep into your own data.
Yeah, embrace the complexity.
I never know what you might find.
And remember, the power of data manipulation, it's really at your fingertips.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.